So we will be looking at the SQL question. It's a 50 question. It's called SQL50 on the platform LEETCODE.com, as you see it from here. One of the questions that I often get asked, okay, I learned SQL, I know some basic advanced function, but I want to put it into practice. How can I practice it? So LeetCode is one of the best platforms that you can refer not only for SQL but for other programming language to practice your skills, to test your knowledge. And these questions sets are believed are to be asked quite often in technical interviews by big companies. So there's a good chance that one of the questions could potentially come across in one of the interviews that you will have in the future. So today we'll be looking at the first 5 questions about the select statement. So in our first question about the recyclable and low-fat products, so we have been given a table called products. It has 3 columns: product ID, low fats, and recyclable. So here we have a yes and no. Yes meaning okay, the product has a low fat category and it's recyclable. If it's no, it means no. And in the question, we have been asked to write a solution to find the IDs of products that are both low fat and recyclable. So if you look at the table, so the product IDs that are both low fat and recyclable, which means yes and yes, are product ID number 1 and product ID number 3. So let's get into the solution. So in the SQL, it's one of the best practices is that the SQL key statements like select and then group by, order by, these are needs to be written ideally in the capital letters, so it's easy for you and for someone else who's reading your query to understand it easily, to make it different from other statements that you use in your query. So we're gonna use a select statement because we need to get the product ID. So select product ID from our table, which is called products, okay, and then we need to filter the result because we are only interested with low fat and recyclable, which both needs to be yes and yes. So to filter, we use a where statement in SQL where the low fats are equal to yes, and the second condition is for recyclable, which needs to be the yes. Then to combine these two conditions, we're gonna use the keyword and recyclable also needs to be yes. Since here we are not required in a special order like ascending, descending, so we are not gonna use order by, group by, so we're gonna end our statement here with a semicolon and we will run it. Okay, so we have been passed the test. Output, okay, this is the output and this is the expected result, which is correct. So you can do submit or you can go to the next question. Here on the next question, actually because I solved this question earlier, that's why I have my responses recorded here as well. So here we have another table called the customer with 3 columns called ID, name, and referee ID. ID is an integer, variable character is a character, name, and the referee ID is an integer as well. Our primary key is ID, and we have to find the names of the customers that are not referred by the customer with ID number 2. So here, for example, we have been given example table customers. So we see that the Will, Jane or the with the refer ID is a null, which means that they are not referred by the customer ID number 2. Then we have the Bill is the same, and the Zach is the customer ID 1. So we need to get Bill, Jane, Bill, and Zach from the table. Okay. So to do so, what we do? Okay, we're gonna use again the select statement. We need only this column called name. Okay, so that's why we will use select name. Again, with the from we choose our table name from customer. Then again we need to filter the result. Okay, to filter we use the where statement again. Where so our referee ID doesn't need to be equal to 2. So therefore we're gonna use referee ID. Here not equal sign is the same as in Python, so we use exclamation mark and equal sign to 2. We read out like a referee ID is not equal to 2, or you can even use in SQL bigger and the smaller sign 2. This actually no, not this one. 2. This also reads out is the same, is not equal to 2. Okay, so you can use both. So for simplicity, we're gonna use exclamation equal to 2. Oh, so this is one of the condition, okay? And we have also null value here. So in order to get the null, we're gonna use a statement or, because it either needs to be true or null, okay? It cannot be at the same time. That's why we don't use and, but we use the or statement. Or again, referee ID, we're gonna say is null, okay? Null value, and we're gonna end our statement here. So let's have a look what we did here. The first we use a select. We are selecting only the name column here. Then we use from customer because we are querying the customer table. Then we use the referee here to filter the result to include customers whose referee ID is not 2 or is null. So by putting this sign, we are excluding all the customers who is directly referred by customer number 2. And by using all referee ID is null, then we are putting the second condition to include customer who weren't referred by anyone, which is like a null values here, or it means. So we need to use is null statement because in SQL null is not equal to anything, not even to itself. So let's have a run our statement to see what are the results. Okay, so we see that our output is this one and expected is this one. It's okay, correct. You can actually submit it. Okay, it's not bad. Actually, I'm not very concerned about this, the beats percentage and also millisecond runtime, because I have tested in the past. I have seen that with the same result, sometimes I am ending up on the the right part of the tail here. Sometimes I am on the middle or even in the forward. So I think it's like it depends how many people are connected or submitting at the same time, and how much the machine is charged in terms of the workload. That's why if your solution is accepted and you pass the test case and it's fine, you can move forward. Again, I'm gonna delete this and we will start from scratch. Here we have a big countries question. Again, we have column name, continent, area, population, GDP. So name is a primary key. Each row in this table gives information about the name of the country, the continent to which it belongs, its area, population, and GDP value, gross domestic product value. So in order for a country to be big, there's several conditions. So it has an area of at least 3 million square kilometers, or it has a population of at least 25 million. Okay, so we have to write a solution to find the name, population, area of the big countries. So return the result table in any order. Here's the example. So here we have selected Afghanistan and Algeria because these are the two countries are corresponds. So this one corresponds in terms of population because it's more than 25 million, and Afghanistan has been selected because of and also because of the population. Because in terms of the area, we see that they are all less than 3 million. Okay, so what do we need? We need the 3 columns here. It's always important to look at the output table because in the output table we already know that what are the columns that we need to have in our final result. Okay, so let's have a look. We need to have the select statement again, starting with the name followed by a population. Then we have the area from our table called world, where our so it has an area. Okay, where area are bigger and equal to, we're gonna copy it not to make a mistake, are bigger than bigger and equal to 3 million. So you see there's an or statement, then we're gonna use the or. Population is also the same, at least it means bigger and equals. Okay, bigger and equal to 25 million. We're gonna copy paste. Since we are not requested to have a special order, so we're gonna leave it like that. We're gonna run our query. Okay, we check it, Afghanistan, Algeria, it's correct, and we're gonna submit it. Okay, perfect, not bad. Then we're gonna move forward to the third question about the article views. Here we have the views table with article ID, author ID, viewer ID, view date columns. There's no primary key, which means that okay, this column values could be repeated, like article ID can be repeated several times. Each row of the table indicates that some viewer viewed an article on some date. Okay, notes equal author ID and viewer ID indicate the same person. So we have to write a solution to find all the authors that viewed at least one of their articles. Okay, so return the result table sorted by ID in ascending order. So basically, okay, this is our article ID. We need to find authors that viewed at least one of their own articles. So it means that it says also, okay, if the author ID and viewer ID is the same value, it means authors viewed their own articles. So here, for example, ID number 4 are repeated in both columns. author ID, viewer ID. It means the same author has seen his article. Okay, and again, and you see it's repeated again here, but we only interested to see the distinct values, like, because since it's the same author, so we are only interested to find it once. We don't count the repeated values. And on the second, we see there's another author ID. Number 7 is repeated here, and here it is. Okay, the author ID 7 also has seen his article, but this time only once. Okay, so this is our expected output with ID column. So what we do then we use a select statement. Here, since the author IDs are repeated, we have to use a distinct author ID, because we are selecting the author ID column, and we have to also rename it to the ID first. And the idea behind using the distinct, it means that we don't get the duplicated author ID. Okay, so select distinct author ID, and in SQL we call it alias, so it means that we are kind of renaming our original column name, which is ID, author ID, to ID, because expected output comes with ID. Okay, so you use the keyword as, it stands for the alias, as ID. Okay, then we are selecting this column from our table called views. Okay, then we need again to filter, because we only want to get the author ID which are equal to the viewer ID. Okay, so then we will use a where statement, where author ID are equal to our viewer ID. And we have been requested to get the result table sorted by ID in ascending order. Okay, to do the sorting we use the keyword order by, so we have to order it by the author ID. For ascending, it means we have the smaller values first and it gets towards the bigger values, so we use the keyword as ASC, which stands for ascending, and we close our statement. Then we run. Okay, we check it, this is the output and this is expected, which is true, and we submit it. Okay, perfect. 97%, 49. Okay, we move forward to our last question of this video series. This time we need to find the invalid tweets. So the tweet, we have been given a tweets table with the two columns only, tweet ID and content. So the tweet ID is an integer, is a character, content, tweet ID is a primary key. Okay, it contains all the tweets in a social media app. So we have to write a solution to find the IDs of the invalid tweets. The tweet is invalid if the number of characters used in the content of the tweet is strictly greater than 15. Okay, so here, for example, and we have to return the result table in any order. So result format is the following example. For example, if we count here number of characters, the tweet one has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, actually we have to count the space as well. So including the space we have 14. and here apparently tweet ID has a length of 32. So it means that the first one, it doesn't pass our condition because it's less than 15. The second tweet, it's over 15. That's why it's a correct answer. So to get it done, so we're gonna use again a select statement. So we are selecting the column name in output is the same as the original, so we give it tweet ID. Select tweet ID from our table called tweets. And again, we have to filter. Again, we use a where statement. Here, in order to count the number of characters in the content column, we have to use a function called the length, okay, which counts the number of letters and the space, including the space. So we're gonna use the length. We open the brackets and we have to mention our column name inside the brackets, which is content, and it needs to be over 15 because we want only the bigger tweets over 15 number of characters. Since there's no requirement in terms of the ordering, so we leave it like that, and we close our statement with a semicolon. We run it. Okay, so our test has been passed. This is output, this is expected result, which is the same. Then we can submit it. Okay, great. Yeah, it's unknown detail, but it doesn't match actually because it has been accepted. So today we have solved actually 5 SQL problems about the select statement and where statement. We have seen how can we use the filtering. We have seen the length function, and we have seen also the order by, and also about the null values. How does it work? Or an AND statement with combining 2 different functions. Okay. If you like this video, press the like button and don't forget to subscribe to get the upcoming part about the basic function, basic join function in SQL with this question solution. Okay.